Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison led the prosecution. He said he accepts the lesser sentence for Potter, and he is urging others to do the same. Our Caroline Cummings had a chance to speak with him after today's decision.
We'll go ahead and get started. I know you don't have much time. So just going off your lengthy statement you sent today following the sentencing, you said that you accept Judge Chu's judgment and you encouraged everybody to accept her decision today. What do you say to Dante Wright's family, who is devastated by the decision? In Katie Wright's words, she put it that the justice system murdered her son all over again today. How do you reconcile the two?
I say that she suffered an incalculable loss. And I also urge everybody to understand where she's coming from. Her son was her life and the life of her husband. And he was the center of his family and beloved in his family unit and community. So, I mean, one thing does not negate the other. The fact is that Judge Chu's decision is her decision. She made it after listening to both sides. She made it after reading everything, and she made it after reading the pre-sentence investigation, and she rendered her decision. So, I don't think it benefits us at all to not accept the decision. We should accept that decision. And remember that Daunte Wright's life cannot be measured in the number of years that Kim Potter did or didn't get. Daunte Wright's life is measured in the people who loved him, and that love is infinite. And so that's what I say. I say that that you've got to make room in your heart for a grieving mom, and I do.
Do you think it was the right decision to render a downward departure from the sentencing guidelines?
Like I said, I accept the decision that the judge made. I think others, it's your First Amendment right to not agree, but I'm not going to second guess the court, because as an officer of the court, which is what I am, I think it is important to make sure that decisions are rendered according to law. I mean, that is, and her decision was rendered according to law. She did not, I would never submit or suggest she did not use her discretion within her prerogative. She did. Now, those of us, you can disagree with it. Nobody has to agree with the court's decision. But I think overall, we are all best served by committing to accept her decision. I urge others to accept her decision. And I think, the effort to make sure that we have better relationship between police and community, that effort goes forward. That effort doesn't stop. Right now, people are working on reform measures as we speak, and they should continue to do that. I support that. I think that, I was among the most brokenhearted when the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act seemed to fail. Let's revive that. Let's keep on pushing. And, honestly, I think Kim Potter has an important role to play. She could go from police department to police department to say, you know what? I actually did weapons confusion and it had lethal outcomes. Here's how you might avoid it. Here's how you might be more careful. Don't follow the path that I followed. And in that way, she couldn't ever make up for the pain she caused, but she could maybe prevent some other parent from having the same suffering.
You said accountability is the first step on the road to justice, but it's more than that. What is justice really in your view?
Well, look, it's restoration. It also involves mercy. It also involves compassion and even forgiveness. It involves, making sure that we as a society come to a brand new understanding about the importance of treating everyone with equality. From my standpoint, we should always be striving for no one's above the law, no one's beneath it. No one is too low down because of their social status to get the benefit of the law, and no one's too high to escape the consequences and the accountability of the law. We all have to live under it and obey it. Equal justice under the law. That's why the Statute of Liberty is blindfolded.
Your office has now prosecuted 2 really high-profile cases involving former officers killing civilians, residents of Minneapolis and Brooklyn Center by police. The case with George Floyd and now Daunte Wright. How do you see justice differently in these 2 cases? Obviously, there were different charges and different sentences, but big picture, is justice look differently to you?
Well, thanks for pointing out that they are extremely different cases, very different cases. But I will say that, look, we live in a society where we live under one standard of justice. And that's all anyone is asking for. That none of us should be able to say, because of my connections, because of who I know, because of what I do, I can do stuff that others can't do. We all have to live under the law. And none of us should say, because of the history of the ethnic group I come from, it's okay for people to treat me really badly. And we've got to have one standard of justice to live up to that pledge that we all make. What do we say? Liberty and justice for all. And guess what? If we do that and if we strive toward that, our society will be better off. We will be a better society for it. And I think that we can't go around the world telling other countries that they should observe human rights, that they should make sure that the state has the proper relationship with the civilians, and then not do it. And so that's what I think we should be striving for. And I believe that Kim Potter has a future to look forward to. I hope she uses the time she will have with her family wisely, and she has led a life of service. I hope she continues to do so and commits herself to making sure that others don't commit the same mistake that she did. And yet what she did was a mistake. We acknowledge that it was a mistake. It was not an intentional crime, quite different from Derek Chauvin. But it still was a lethal mistake, and it was a violation of the law. I think we've got to try to heal. We've got to try to come together as a community. It's so easy to retreat into a corner and just lash out in an angry way. We've got to find healing, and we've got to find justice, elusive, but we've always got to be in pursuit of it.
So I guess I'm just trying to capture the sentiments of some people in the community, people of color, who feel like, okay, equal justice under the law, but I have felt that it has been uneven justice towards my community. That's
Absolutely.
the concern. So I guess, how do you answer that or reconcile the pursuit for that, but the feelings that the justice has been uneven from some
Well,
people?
look, we're Americans. We know that from 1619 to 1865, our country was a slaveholding nation. Native peoples were dispossessed. For 100 years after that, we had Jim Crow. We had women who could not vote at all. We had Japanese internment, the Chinese Exclusion Act, and the Indian Removal Act. We have had racial policies that did not embrace the idea of equal justice for all. Since about 1968, we've said we have a non-racial, multiracial democracy, and we are still trying to perfect that. And we should all pursue that, and we should not quit on that. It is a worthy goal. It is a worthy goal, and everyone has got to step up and make our country more democratic, more fair, more equal before the law. And I think that is something that is wonderful about our country. No foreign power came here and made us eliminate slavery and get rid of Jim Crow. Americans worked that out on their own, and we've got more to work out in these days and in days to come. But I believe that people are going to be committed to the pursuit of justice, and I'm one who's going to join in that effort.
Is there anything else before I let you go? I know you have limited time, but I'd offer you 5 minutes if you have one.
Only that, now that the sentencing has occurred, it's time for us to start talking to each other, to start dialogues, to listen to each other, to create an environment where police and community can talk and figure out a way where we can build a mutually trusting relationship. And I know a lot of officers who really want that, are ready to work for it. And I know a lot of community members are too. I say, don't quit, don't give up, and better days are ahead.